Now, Stockport County are absolutely flying this season. They sit top of the table after 3 game weeks, scoring 7. They're one of the few teams in the division to still not concede a goal. They're 9 points out of a possible 9. They're absolutely flying, and Dave Challoner has transformed this Stockport side. They brought the average age of the squad down, the value of the squad up, and they are absolutely flying in League 1 after their title win in League 2 last campaign. But just why is it going so good for Stockport County? They've been a club on the rise over the last couple of seasons, and after their title win last season, a lot of people were expecting them to go again, but their transfer recruitment has been absolutely incredible. You look at the players that they've signed, they've massively brought down the average age of the squad. Before we get into the incomings, look at the departures. Yes, on paper they lost some significant players who were brilliant for them last season, the likes of Ryan Croasdale, but he's 29, Miles Hippolyte also 29, Connor Lemonade-Evans now 27, Anthony Sarcevic has joined my team Bradford City 32. I want to say he's exactly set many trees on fire. Is that the right saying? He's not pulled up too many trees so far, in all honesty. Akil Wright as well, 28 years of age. Paddy Madden, 34. Neil Byrne at 31. And the type of players that they've brought into the football club on a permanent basis are a lot younger. The likes of Lewis Fiorini, the likes of Lewis Bate, Callum Connolly, Jack Diamond, Sam Hughes, Jaden Fevrier, Corey Adai, Jay Mingate are all the permanent younger players that they've brought in. Ollie Norwood as well has joined after playing well over 25 games in the Premier League last season on a long-term contract. He's kind of the only anomaly. Some of their loan recruits as well, the likes of Louis Barry returning to the football club, is probably the most significant piece of transfer business. They've also brought in Michael Mellon. He was very good for Morecambe in the first half of last campaign, and he's actually younger than me, which is absolutely terrifying to say. And bearing in mind, Stockport are absolutely flying this season with well over 10 injuries. It's been a problem they've had there for a number of years, and I thought it would still remain a problem for them this season, and it did, and I factored that into making my League 1 table predictions. I had them in the bottom 8 because I thought the injuries were going to be far too much for them to keep up with this season, and they still might be. But while they've had the season that they've had, we have to talk about how good Stockport County have been so far this season. You look at their squad, on paper that is genuinely a very, very good standard League 1 squad. They've got the perfect balance really between experience and young talent who are going to shine at this level, and an excellent manager. Dave Challoner is one of the best in the division. He will get the best out of this team. The quality on paper in this Stockport squad is brilliant. They still need maybe another centre-back for me. They're looking a little bit light in at that department. I'm also not sure what position Tyler Onyango is, because on Stockport's club website he's a defender, but then anywhere else says he's a midfielder. Like Jay Mingy, he's a central midfielder, but he's been playing right back for Stockport so far this season. But look at the quality in that squad. It's absolutely brilliant. There's some unbelievable pieces of talent in this squad, and like I say, they've got the perfect manager to get the best out of that team. I mean, even their most recent match against Bristol Rovers, they absolutely battered them, and Bristol Rovers are a well-established League 1 side who probably had ambitions and expectations of the playoffs this season, but way more shots, way more open play attacks, way more chances created. Obviously won the game 2-0, and you look at the structure of both sides, you can clearly see here Stockport County in the 4-2-3-1. You look at Bristol Rovers, and what formation even is that? They've got 2-7-2. I've no idea what that formation is that Bristol Rovers have tried to do, but I think we've got to give credit to Stockport for doing that, because they were constantly dragging the Bristol Rovers players all over the place, and you genuinely can't even tell what formation Bristol Rovers were playing, but the Stockport County structure is clear for all to see. It's almost perfect, apart from Will Collar dropping in a little bit deeper and linking up over on that right hand side with Jack Diamond. That is almost a perfect 4-2-3-1, and that is the average position of to where they were in the majority of the match. Their attacks as well are fairly well balanced. You would say for the large part it comes down the wider sort of positions, but they can go through the middle as well. Their shots again largely did come through the middle, and that is obviously where you've got the best chance of scoring. You're creating the better chances by going through the middle, because you've obviously got more of the goal to aim at as well, and a lot of their chances coming inside the 18-yard box, which I think again very, very promising. They're getting the balls into the dangerous positions, and when you're creating chances inside the 18-yard box, and quite a lot of them as well in the 6-yard box, you're gonna score goals. And the style of play as well is just the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. That is one of my favourite sayings, that one. Loads of passes, loads of crosses, loads of long balls, loads of short passes. They can mix it up, but traditionally a very well possession-based side, and Stockport were absolutely brilliant in this game. At home, in front of their fans, they absolutely tore Bristol Rovers apart, who, like I say, have ambitions of making it into the playoffs this season. And again, Blackpool are no mugs for this level. They probably had ambitions and expectations of challenging for a top 6 spot this season. Stockport went there and absolutely wiped the floor with them. Again, statistically, Stockport Stockport were the better side in the game and thoroughly deserved the win. You look at the average positions again, you can clearly see here the 4-2-3-1. Very easy to see. The structure and system that Dave Challoner has got there is absolutely brilliant. We then look at Blackpool, who again, the team is all over the place, and you could maybe put that down to poor organisation from Blackpool, but I can't tell you what formation that is that Blackpool are playing. It's clear to see though the structure of this Stockport County squad, and so much credit has to go to Dave Challoner because he's got it absolutely spot on again in this match. You look at the attacks as well, fairly well balanced once again, and the majority of the attacks coming down the left hand side, where obviously it was number 20 Louis Barry. There's a surprise, absolutely unbelievable for this level. A lot of the attacks coming down this side, whereas Blackpool's were fairly well balanced throughout, but Louis Barry, the star man, showing it once again. More of the majority of the chances coming down the middle, again like what I mentioned earlier, a lot more of a chance of scoring goals if his shots are coming from the middle, and a shot zone again. Loads of chances inside the 18-yard box. Actually, no chances inside the 6-yard box, but loads in the 18-yard box, which I think is massive, way more than what Blackpool had. And again, defensively restricting the opposition to very, very few chances. And it's not like Stockport sat in and tried to counter-attack. They dominated the ball. They had loads more passes. Yes, a few less crosses, but they didn't obviously need to put loads of crosses in the box because they were tearing Blackpool apart by playing the ball on the floor. 426 short passes compared to Blackpool's 350. Stockport were the away side, their first away match in League One for a significant amount of years, and they went there and they played with no fear. That Dave Challoner, he deserves so much credit because he's got these young players absolutely flying. Yes, they're good players, but Challoner has got the system and structure absolutely spot on so far this season, and he deserves so much credit for getting the best out of these unbelievable players. Now, some people might look at this game against Blackburn and obviously see Stockport got absolutely annihilated and think, well, they're clearly not ready to make that step up into the championship yet. But you look at the team that Stockport played in this game, it was largely their academy players or some fringe players who haven't really had much football so far this season. As you can see, when you play some of these younger players who aren't quite used to the system and tactics that the manager obviously wants to play, the structure kind of does go out of the window, although it looks like Blackburn were playing a 5-5. I don't really know what formation that is, but as you can see, Stockport, no real structure in there. But you look at the squad numbers, you got a 46, a 54, a 56, a 31, a 29. I doubt many of these players are going to be getting regular first team football this season. The only real significant first team players who featured in this game were Ben Hinchcliffe, but again, he is the backup goalkeeper this season, or it certainly seems that way. Sam Hughes was obviously getting some minutes as well. We also saw Jaden Fevrier and Odin Bailey, but apart from that, no real significant first team players played, and obviously it's very understandable as to why they were battered by Blackburn in this game. But again, Blackburn are a well-established championship club. Even on the opening day against Cambridge, who, while a lot of people will have Cambridge to be down and around relegation this season, Stockport on the opening day might have felt a little bit of pressure, but they played with no fear once again, and they completely dominated this Cambridge side and thoroughly deserved to win the match. Again, a lot of their attacks are very balanced, which I think is good to see. You look at the average positions, and I think while it's a little bit messier, you can clearly see here you got the 4, the 2, the 3, the 1, whereas Cambridge, once again, the structure isn't there, and it's so important having a structure and having players playing where you need them to do. Dave Challoner has his centre-backs quite narrow, his full-backs very wide, his midfield close together so they can play the intricate one-touch football, and then the front three quite close together as well, and it clearly works. He scored some brilliant goals in there. Louis Barry was absolutely outstanding, as he has been so far this season. I think at the moment Captain Lewis Bay is injured. I do think it's only a minor injury, but they're kind of just hoping to get through now until kind of after the international break, and then hopefully a lot of their more significant players will be coming back. And a lot of managers would just see that they've got a number of injuries. I think it's well over 10 injuries at the moment, and use that as an excuse and kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit. But Challoner set the standards so high that whoever plays, as long as they've got a decent amount of senior first team players playing the match, they will compete at League One level. And well, obviously I don't think they will stay top of the table throughout the full season. Why can Stockport fans not dream? I think from what I've seen so far, I think it would be disappointing now if they don't finish in the top half of the table, which is brilliant considering where a lot of people were expecting them to finish at the start of the campaign. I actually think out of all the promoted teams, they're going to do the best out of them all. Yes, Wrexham have spent big money, so have Stockport though. Let's not joke about them sort of things, because Stockport have spent money as well. Not necessarily the biggest on transfer fees though, maybe a couple $100,000. I don't think it'll be any more than £1 million in all honesty, but sometimes you have to spend that money if you want to challenge for the level, and it's not like they're signing 20 29, 30-year-olds. They're signing 20, 22, 24-year-olds who are going to develop and they're going to sell on for a profit. And I think Stockport, they're a club heading in the right direction, and I'm very, very jealous as a Bradford City fan. Stockport are everything I wish we were.